Get out right out of your bed, that's your quicksand. Getting rid of anxiety and head, you can fix it. Rid of stigmas, all of them you said, we ain't listening. Just remember, try to do your best, you can win this. Maurice Benard, state of mind.
Ay, amor, me duele tanto. Me duele tanto. All right, this is Spanish state of mind. And it's just like, you know, we're going to speak Spanish the whole time. ¿Cómo estás? Bien. ¿Y tú? Muy bien. ¡Que viva la música! So, please, if you like what you see, why do I have a pen in my hand? But that's all right, because I'll have a pen in my hand. If you like what you see, hit the button right here and subscribe. Please, please, listen. I know I keep, and I don't like doing that, but I do want to get to 200,000. And then we'll coast, and maybe by then we can even get to 1 million. I don't know. If we do, it's party time. Okay, so who I got today is I'm gonna read it to you. Who I got today is Frank Lyon. Okay. He was born in 1867. An American lawyer, newspaper publisher, and land developer in Arlington County, Virginia. Okay? It's amazing. He developed the land in modern-day Clarendon, Virginia, Lyon Park, and Lyon Village. Okay, that's not all. It's not the only thing he's done. Let's see. Oh, he's a plumbing. He has a plumbing company, an electrician. If I already said his name, now you can shoot him. Usually I tease it, but I said his name. Okay, Frank Lyon also is an American-born bishop. This, you know about Frank Lyon. He does everything. And I'm just reading you some of the things that this guy, he's still alive, even though he was born in 1867. He's been a missionary in South America. He was a missionary. Okay, hold on. I'm not done yet. I think I might have one more thing. Oh, no, that's it. Oh, my God, that was great. I want to tell you something, Frank. I haven't laughed that much on State of Mind in over 450 interviews. and I know I haven't laughed that much in an intro.
Right.
Never. So this is Frank Lyon. Look, I just know him as Sonny's bodyguard. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Thanks for
You
having me.
want to show your shirt, man?
Oh, everybody.
You see that?
Let's see. Let me get around.
You got to get it. You got to get it.
Oops. Come on now.
Look at that.
Everybody.
Have a sunny day. That's amazing. That's amazing. So yeah, Frank is a real good guy. I don't know, look, here's the deal with Frank. I'm not even going to look at my notes. I don't need them. I've always known him to be a good guy, loyal guy. Now, I don't know, maybe he's ripped off people his whole life, but I this is my gut feeling, that he's just a loyal, cool guy, talented. And, I know he's talented because just the few times that he has said more than, a word, I could tell he can act. And I love that because he's just real. But he plays Frank, right?
Frank, yeah.
My Sonny's bodyguard. How do you like doing that, man?
I love it. I mean, first off, thank you for having me, boss.
Yeah, yeah.
And just again, for those who only get to see Sonny on General Hospital, Maurice, just know that as amazing of an actor as he is, he's even that much better of a man. Funny, generous with his acting knowledge. He gives me advice about everything, life, mental health. Great guy.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Let's go. Before we get into GH.
Yeah.
Let's get into how you grew up and stuff like that, because I love hearing all that.
Okay. Well, I grew up here in Southern California, a city called South Almani, and also West Covina, if anybody knows.
Yeah, I've heard of West Covina.
San Gabriel Valley. I'm a product of a hybrid relationship, as I like to say. My mom was English, Irish, Scottish. My father's Mexican, Hopi Indian.
Wow.
So, yeah, hablo español también, si quieres hacer este...
Pues si quieres hablar español conmigo, hablemos.
Bueno, si quieres hacer este episodio todo completamente en español, todo
Oh,
bien.
you good. I can't talk that good.
Oh, no, well, I grew up mainly with the Mexican side of the family, and I have two brothers, which it's funny because they're half-brothers. We share the same mom, both blonde hair, blue eyes, but they also speak Spanish, so people look at them.
They do?
Like, where you guys come from? But yeah, no, grew up, here, relatively poorish, and just
You see,
never to
you know what's
persevere.
funny about being grown up poor?
Yeah,
If I didn't grow up poor, but I grew up middle class, but
yeah,
I would be proud to say I'm growing up poor,
right,
because it gives you character,
definitely,
right?
definitely.
It's interesting how that is. It's just like some people who take mental health and they underplay it, or they kind of I'm proud of being bipolar, although it's a mother.
I hear you.
It's a mother. So you were so you were poor, and what does poor mean to you?
Maybe poor is the wrong word. I mean, we had a roof over our head. We had food.
Yeah.
A lot of cousins that we grew up with, along with my brothers. So we had that unity.
The cousins come from the Mexican side, right?
They definitely do. But like, for instance, I remember in elementary, I might have had a couple pairs of pants, maybe 3 shirts, 1 pair of shoes.
Yeah.
That I'd alternate to different days, which actually I think helped me with improvising and acting and so forth, because friends would say something like, "Didn't you wear that yesterday?" And yes, I did. But then I would quickly say, "What are you, blind, 4 eyes? Get some glasses." No, I'm having to come up with different comebacks just to like kind of guard myself. But
were you in school? Did you fight?
no, I've always been kind of the bigger kid.
Oh,
And my buddy would always tell me I was kind of the dichotomy between I'm really athletic, but I'm also the nerd and kind of class clown. So I had
That's
all
kinda
these
good.
kind of little things going for me. So if anything, I would try to protect my buddies from being bullied.
oh, really?
So yeah, that was kind of my thing. But like, the only type of bullying would have been, like I said, people talking about my attire back then.
Yeah.
But I was always quick to come back with something, and I think it helped me develop a quicker mind.
But didn't you take some karate or?
Oh yeah, no, I'm
but that's later, right?
yeah, that was when I was 18. I studied for about 10, 12 years, Kung Fu Sensu.
10 or 12 years?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a 3rd-degree black belt in Kung Fu Sensu.
Wait a minute. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
3rd degree black belt?
Yeah. So it's a form of street fighting called Kung Fu Sensu, where there are no rules. You leverage the environment in your favor. Take this mic, crack you with it, bite you, do whatever I got to do.
Okay, hold on. This is cool. That type of fighting is you take anything and use it.
Exactly.
Which let me tell you something. Because I got in a fight. I used to fight a lot,
Yeah.
and I lost once. I got my ass kicked, and the guy hit me in the face in the street.
We can all use a good ass kicking once in a while, right?
Yeah, I get it, but I never wanted to lose. Trust me.
Right.
But Bruce Lee used to say, never take your eyes off your opponent. It's like a finger pointing to the moon. What does that mean?
So basically, I think what he's probably intimating is use yourself. Use everything you've got. For when I used to
Kind of what you just said?
yeah. So what?
Ooh.
When I used to teach, I'd always teach run fu and tung fu before kung fu. In other words, walk away, run away. You don't have to fight. Tung fu, talk your way out of it. Now, lastly is kung fu.
What?
Because as easy as
I get it.
As easy as it is to hurt somebody, it's as easy to get hurt. I would prefer you to call me a bitch or whatever you want to call me, and that's cool. It doesn't hurt me. But if you have me backed into a corner, well, it's no longer a fight. I'm there to survive. I want to get home to my family.
Yeah.
So you might be fighting, but if you see the mentality of somebody who, I'm here to survive, I've accepted death, and I'm calm.
Yeah.
My soul's prepared for that. That's a different kind of mentality, So
Yeah.
you get into a fight with somebody and you see that in their eyes, like, okay, man, that's cool. Let's just go ahead and walk away, right? Because what's the saying? Those who don't fear death are invincible. So when you fight, you don't necessarily train to kill, you train to die, right? Because when you accept death as an outcome, you have no fear. So let's go, Maurice, let's go, right?
What?
So it's that kind of a thing, I mean, that's in theory. Obviously when the poo-poo hits the fan, you're like, sometimes nerves get in the way.
Yeah,
whatever,
but see, with me, Frank, it's ego.
Yeah,
I had to fight.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I should have walked or should have ran,
Yeah.
should have talked. You say, something to me, I'm like, boom.
No, that happens. Ego gets. Let me tell you a silly story. I was with my cousin Jose at his daughter's all-star softball game. Little 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds. We're not thinking there's gonna be a fight, so we're being like normal dads. Hey, girls, plays that first. All right, let's go. These guys in the front start. Hey, quiet already. Shut the F up. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, you shut the F up. Just watch the game. Mind you, we're on the same side, so their daughters are on the same team. And I dress kind of funky. I have a funky hat and funky boots on. Well, after the game, we lose. And I'm talking to my cousin. Mind you, my cousin's a little taller than me. I'm like 6'2"-ish. He's like 6'4"-ish. And this guy comes up to me, and he's like, you ready to do this or what? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, come on, man. You Mr. Pretty Boy. You talk a bunch of poo-poo. And I'm like, bro, go home. Whatever. I keep talking to my cousin. He's getting closer. And I'm like, hey, bro, tell everybody you're Chuck Norris and I'm a bitch, and that's fine. Go home. But then he gets too close. And I tell him, hey, man, leave while you still can.
Oh.
So he takes a step forward to me, and I'm like, I look at my cousin. So I crock him in the groin, boom, knock him in the head.
No.
So he's on the ground. Like, I see him bleeding. I was like, I told you. And as I say that, 2 or 3 dudes tackle me. And I realize that's why he was so confident. His buddies had already surrounded us without me knowing, because I'm thinking we're at a softball game. Where I'm going to get in a fight.
Yeah.
So big old melee ensues. And luckily for us, they weren't very good fighters. So we managed
You took them?
We beat the kind of poo out of them, but they just kept coming. Like, my cousin's not a fighter, but he's a big guy, so he's defending himself as he can. My aunt's smacking one, a Latina aunt smacking with the sandal on the head. Get off my Frankie!
Yeah.
Get off my Frankie! So I get up, I find my cousin, I throw a guy off him. I go, let's get out of Rose, and a couple more guys tackle me, and I'm like,
how many guys were
what
there?
happened? I think there was a total of about 7, so 7 on 2. But again, they weren't skilled at all.
Yeah.
And so I managed to get the best of them. But you were talking about ego. I could have easily walked away. I could have stepped back, but I didn't, because I was upset.
Yeah.
And I let my ego get the best of me.
Yeah.
And you're a boxer.
Yes.
Control is everything.
I know,
control
I know.
yourself, control the fight, win the fight, right? Control your emotions, control your life. Well, I lost my emotions that day. The cops were coming, and I tell my cousin, get to the truck. I have one more takeout order to do. He's like, what are you talking about? And I went back and I found the first fat fool who started the fight, and he was still on the floor bleeding. And again, I had lost my mind. I picked him up by his hair and smashed his head, his mouth in the bleachers.
Oh, my.
But before that, I said, I told you you should have left while you still could. And boom, I did that, right? And I took off. Got home. I felt kind of bad about it. But my cousin's wife shows up. He's like, Frankie, you left that dude like the Joker. Turns out this was his whole family that surrounded us, his father, uncles, everybody. So I guess the grandfather shows up, and he's like, I want to apologize, for my family. This is horrible, blah, blah, blah. We get word that we're no longer allowed back at the park. We're kicked out, and I apologize to my cousin. He's like, my daughter's amazing. She'll be at another All-Star game. He goes, besides, my back was killing me, the adrenaline, I feel amazing. So I took out 7 guys, and I go, bro, if this was real and they were real fighters, we could have been seriously
Yeah,
injured.
that would have been not good.
Had I not let my ego get in the way, I would have just backed up. And because as a fighter, you're trained to be against a wall or a corner so you can have a 180 view and nobody can get behind you. But I'm not thinking we're going to get in a fight at a softball game. This is a little kid's game. But
the game was going on?
The game had ended. We had lost that game. Or my niece had lost the game. But
put this closer here this way.
Yeah.
No, like this.
Oop.
There you go.
All right, yeah. But anyway, we were talking about ego.
Yeah,
ego
look,
got in my way. I could have easily walked away from that as well. But
yes,
I was
you could have.
Mad. And I wasn't thinking, like, you need to know your
Yeah.
surroundings, right? And I'd already been surrounded, and I didn't know this.
But sometimes you're stuck in a situation that that your mind says you can do this, and I'm not going to take anymore.
Right.
But in actuality, you could.
Yeah.
You could just get up and walk.
Yes, indeed.
But then he's going to be calling you, hey, sissy.
Yeah.
But ego. Look, let's talk a little bit about egos. I just went to therapy.
Yeah.
I told my therapist this, but I love this pen, man. I love this pen. I told my therapist that, ego is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
It's a mother. But you need a certain amount of ego to get you where you need to go, because I think ego is kind of like that kind of drive, that rage. And I said to her, I said, my whole career I yelled at everybody.
Yeah.
About the work, nothing.
Sure.
You were there.
Yeah. It's intense, but then your performance after that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
we'll talk about. I think you were there.
Yeah.
I don't yell anymore.
Yeah.
I don't for many reasons.
Right.
Because I figured out that all that was even though it was about the work, it was ego to do it that way.
Yeah.
Because there's no need for yelling at people. You can do it in another way. And then what happens is when you yell, for a state of mind audience, when you yell, it hurts you.
Yeah.
And all that stress. When I used to yell at people, I would go downstairs and cry a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was not only hurting other people, I was hurting myself. And it didn't make me feel great. But I would get what I want sometimes, obviously.
Right.
But there's no need for that. Because I tell you, for a year, I don't yell.
Right.
Even at home, I've learned, it's a learned behavior.
Right.
You take that pause, and right when you think you're going to go to that place, you just, you breathe. And you don't do it. Just like in your situation with those guys.
Yeah.
Very easily could have been like, take a breath.
Yeah.
Take the higher ground.
Right.
And just go. But, ego's a.
So I play basketball. I play a lot of, I haven't played as much, but I shoot around a lot now. But I used to be psycho-competitive, like to a psychotic, ego-driven competition. And we were in a game once, a practice game. We had won I was in a men's league, and we had won the championship the season before. So we're playing the crappiest team. But our guys are going through the motions, and I'm getting pissed off because I hate to lose at anything. And they beat us. So the crappy team, they take it like that's their championship. We beat the champions. And I lose it. I was like, I quit, you mother effers. I don't play with losers. I'm a winner.
Right.
I'm going out of my mind. One of the players, as I'm walking away, he grabs me. Hey. I grab him, I sweep his leg, and I put my foot on his throat. Don't ever touch me with your loser hands. And I'm just,
wow.
I've lost it. And I can hear myself saying all these psychotic, mean things, but I can't stop because my mind and ego is like so far gone. And I was like, listen, every time you lose, a little bit of your soul dies, and none of you losers are going to kill my soul. and I'm like, what is wrong with me? And I just kept going and going. So I leave. And like you're saying, I didn't cry, but I was just in my car thinking, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? So I sent a mass text to everybody. And I was like, I apologize, I lost it, whatever. Well, we end up winning the championship that season again. And we're eating at the pizza place afterwards. And they're like, remember when you yelled the hell out of us? He's like, we needed that, and I go, no, but I was wrong. And he goes, yeah, but sometimes you need that a-hole on your team to like move everybody along. Like you're saying, a little bit of ego will help.
Yes.
There was a better way to do it. But like I said, at the time, I just lost control. So now as I'm older, if I play anything, basketball, I'm more of a teacher, a coach. And I'm like, I'm just here, whatever. It's just a game.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be that guy, because he's in there still.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, that guy's
Cause like I used to train a buddy of mine over at Venice Gold's gym. Actually, a good actor, writer, Steven Seppers, his name. He wrote the movie Heist, if you ever saw it, with De Niro. And he's in it as well. Great movie about a bank heist. But anyhow, I was working out with him, and he's like, you're a jokey, funny guy, but then you get serious. And he goes, kind of scare me a little bit. And I was like, well, no, I don't mean to, man, but I mean, this is serious. Life is on the line. Your health is on the line in a fight. You don't want to avoid it at all costs. But if you get there, you want to know that you can do something to protect yourself, your family, whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, something happens in your eyes. You go from, to all of a sudden, let's play,
And I don't know if there's anything wrong with having that feeling of take it seriously with the work.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it more so what we're talking about is how we affect other people.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I've never seen you yell, but
yeah,
it's not fun for the other person.
No, not
right?
at all.
Now, to take the work seriously, and maybe you want to sometimes now yell out, not at people, but just to get into it, right?
Sure.
So let's get into GH. Yeah. Let's get into some scoop.
All right.
What you came on as my bodyguard.
Yeah.
What? Okay, hold on. This is good. I like this. Tell me some stuff, if you can.
Right.
Funny stuff that you've seen over the years. From me or from Steve or, Chad or.
Well, with you, I'll go one instance. So I'm supposed to do the next scene with you in the restaurant, your little coffee area there. And you're doing your dialogue, and I think maybe you're skipping a line here or there. And they keep telling you, hey, you're missing a line here, you're missing a line there. And all of a sudden, you just go off.
Oh, it was ugly.
And you're like, do you want me to be line perfect or you want me to act? Because I'm not going to do both. And I was like, well, that's actually good.
No, you're right. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
You know who was in that scene was, she played.
You were kind of interrogating her.
Yeah, she played what?
I can't remember. I'm only remembering the things that you said because, again, I'm on
the
other side.
I basically said, listen, because I let him do it once, right?
Yeah.
And this was before I started working on my not yelling out.
Yeah.
So you saw the last of it.
Yeah.
I said, listen, okay, they came out. What's her name? A something. I forget her name, but they came out, and there was a lot of dialogue that I had.
Yeah.
And it was like, just leave me alone, but that's all right. So they came out once, and I look at, I think it was Kyle.
Yeah.
Maybe. And
It was Kyle.
I said, Kyle, what? I said, Kyle, what? What do they want? They want you to say, you didn't say this word or that word. I said, okay, I'll do it. We did it. I see it. They stop, and I see him walking over all like this. I said, what is it? I said, okay, I'm not going to do it now because but I said, listen, Do you want me to be thinking of my lines while I'm acting, or do you want a great performance?
Yes.
I mean, this is, but it was.
It was, man, it was.
Go ahead. Man.
So you're like, you said exactly that. You know, do you want a great acting performance? Or you want me to get it line perfect, right?
Yeah.
And then you blew up. You're like, I'm done with you guys. I'm done with this.
Oh, that's
my
right.
mental health is everything, which it is.
Oh my God.
You just started screaming and yelling, and then they wanted to get a Mr. Valentini down. You're like, I don't want to see Frank. I don't want to see anybody.
Oh my God.
The producer.
Yeah.
And and then, well, that blows over. You do the scene, and you were menacing as fuck.
Yeah.
You were amazingly intense, and
Yes.
I'm on the other side watching and from the monitor. I'm like, holy crap.
Yes.
So you finish and you kind of walk by the door and I lock eyes with you and I'm like, boss, that was intensely awesome. That was amazing. And you looked at me, and you're like, ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I needed to get out of that mode, bro.
and it was like amazing. And then we did our scene, but I was like, obviously you didn't want to blow up that way on people, but what it did for your performance,
because-
oh my God.
Okay, look.
Intensely awesome.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And I don't encourage this behavior
Yeah.
with any young actors because it's not the way to do it. But what happens, I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately with me, is
Yeah.
when I blow up, the performance that comes afterwards is much better because it's so filled with stuff.
It's like almost a controlled rage.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's a thing, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, it's always, because every time I've blown up like that, and I don't do it anymore, thank you, but the performance is that way, but it's hard on me, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to here's why it's hard. I'm going to give it to you. Not that you guys even care about acting, but I'm going to get into this anyway.
Yeah.
It's hard because I just blew up. Now my mind says all the pressure's on me
Yeah.
to not mess up a line.
Right.
But because of all that, adds to the stuff. So, but when I'm done with it, like when I go downstairs,
Yeah.
it's not healthy.
No.
Frank, it's not healthy.
Not at all. But
What?
adding on to, that helping your performance.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when I'll say, I'm an actor, I was like, I'm a good liar. I can be an actor. They misconstrue what acting really is. Obviously, the fabrication of scenes and the writing is all illusory, and it is a lie in a sense. But the performance, if the performance isn't authentic and true,
Yes.
the audience isn't going to resonate with you. They're
That's
not going
right.
to laugh when you laugh. They're not going to be mad when you're mad.
That's
They're
right.
not going to be happy when you're happy.
That's
So
right.
what you're saying is when you get into that intense thing and you're acting, you're being authentic within the scene.
Complete.
And that's why you're like, whoa, that was amazing. Whether you're supposed to be menacing, whether you're supposed to be loving, whatever it is, you're like, this is awesome. Because you're tapping into, some people in acting would like to say like, oh, I lose myself in the role. I think you find yourself in the role. You find something you can connect with.
That's a good way of putting it.
Like with me,
Yeah.
for instance, if I have to get to an emotional point, I think about my mom passing away.
Yeah.
So whether I'm talking to you about something, but in my mind, this is real because I'm thinking about my mom.
Yeah.
And that's where tears.
Well, that's
and
method
that
acting.
feeling comes in. Well, it in a sense, but it comes in. You tap into
That's what I
something.
do.
Yeah. You tap into something that's real to you.
Yeah. I mean, you
So-
could, your friend could die or dying on a soap,
Yeah.
and you're thinking about your mother.
Yes.
That's what I
Oh,
do.
yeah.
It's called affective memory.
Exactly. Yeah.
and
yeah.
it's the best.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you can get into that state of mind,
Yeah.
your performance is authentic and real, and you're not lying.
No.
So again, that's the confusion that I think some people have. Like, oh, you're a good liar. No, I'm really good at telling the truth.
Brando used
within
to-
the moment.
Branda used to say shit like that, like
Yeah.
you're a good liar. Everybody's acts in life.
Yeah.
It's different.
that's
what
different.
What
Like
you just said is it makes
Yeah,
a lot
like
of
the
sense.
curated world is obviously a lie. You have writers and all these things,
Yeah.
but The performances, when they're good and authentic, that's the truth.
It's got,
So
since we're getting into acting, but
yeah,
I always think of who's a good actor, who's not a good actor. If you walk into a room, and this is to be true because I see it every day.
yeah,
When you walk into a room and somebody is rehearsing, and you don't know they're rehearsing,
oh yeah,
they're good.
oh yeah,
But if they walk in a room and it's a little loud or a little over the it's acting,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That's a definite.
So I want to go down the line here of as many people as I can remember, and I want you to give me what you feel about each person.
Yeah,
Chad Duell.
I love Chad. But Chad needs. I don't. No disrespect to Chad, but he had COVID a number of times, and I was wondering, like, where are you hanging out, Chad? Get away from these people that keep giving you COVID. But no, he's a great actor and a great guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah,
I've done.
He's like
a few
my
scenes with him.
He's like my son.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
Chad's like my real son.
No, but he's great.
How about were you there with Brian?
Brian.
Morgan,
I'm
my
not,
son who died. No, you might not have been
no,
there.
I'm not sure.
Steve Burton.
Steve's great. Steve's Terminator. Steve always reminds me to go to the gym every time I see him. Great guy. I actually got to be in the episode where he's welcomed back.
Oh,
onto
you
the
did?
show. Yeah. So I actually, I look up and he's there, and I was like, oh, he's like,
Yeah.
is Sonny in? And I was like, he said the scene was something like he doesn't want anybody to bother him, but for you, he'll make an exception. Welcome back. So he's back on the show.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I love him. He's fantastic. Always been amazing to me as well.
But you weren't there when Sonny was off his medication.
No, I don't think so. I haven't been there in a few months.
So thank God you weren't
yeah.
there. Dominic.
Oh yeah, Dominic's great too. Yeah, Dominic's a good-looking dude.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I was like, oh, good-looking guy.
Yeah, he's
man.
a good-looking short guy. Yeah.
He's just good-looking.
Who else do we got? Laura Wright.
Oh, Laura's great. Her smile can outshine the sun.
Yeah, that's true.
Jesus.
She
Like
got
when she's in her office and everything, she looks over and she smiles at me. I'm almost. Oh yeah, hello.
She
Hey.
got a big ass smile.
Yeah,
Nice.
beautiful. Yeah, wonderful actress too.
Ava.
Oh, Ava's fantastic.
Mora.
Yeah.
Who else do we got?
Um,
Frank Valentini.
Oh, Valentini's the best.
He's-
Get me back on Valentini whenever you can. You sent bodyguard Frank on a super secret mission to take out some of the rivals, and he'll be back bigger and better than ever. And he's fantastic.
I can't think
he's
of
always
anybody.
been amazing to me. Dex was always
Oh,
awesome to me.
Evan.
Yeah,
He
Evan was
actually
great.
wrote me and
Yeah.
asked me something.
Oh yeah.
I love his stomach.
Evan's got a
Yeah, I like
good shape. Yeah,
I like to because when you touch his stomach, it goes like that.
no, he's got the washboard.
Yeah.
No, Evan is always awesome. Great guy.
So let's before we conclude, let's any mental health something your brother something
Yeah,
happened?
well, I can get into stuff, and it's in line with acting because I think that's why I enjoy it, because I think I used movies and TV and so forth as an escape. I've mentioned before, me and my father, we don't
Yeah, right.
we don't get along,
Still.
Oh, yeah, that's just the thing. He's a malignant narcissist. There's a lot of things,
How what is that? Do you get to a point, because without getting myself into, but do you get to a point where you're all right with that?
I thought so.
Oh.
I thought so, yes. So I'm his only biological son, and then I have two half brothers that he also raised. So he's a great man in that respect. He raised my brothers. We had a roof over our head, clothing and everything. But when you're constantly berated throughout your life that you're a loser, nothing will come of you, you start believing these kinds of things, and so that's been our existence ever since I can remember. I was never good enough. So I think I excelled at a lot of things in life because all I ever wanted to hear him say was, "I'm proud of you," and it never happened. So he actually has a black belt in Kung Fu Sansu as well that he got in the 70s from the actual guy who brought it here. So I upped him. I'm a 3rd degree black belt, right? So I got you, huh? It's like, you know, we used to use real knives and stuff when we trained. You guys use rubber ones now. Like, okay. You know, I played football, basketball, and baseball, and I excelled at all of them. I got A's in everything.
Yeah.
You know, I was an AP nerd, and, you know, just all of these things I think I did subconsciously to try to prove to him, hey, look, I'm worthy, I'm enough. But no, it was always, you know, you only scored 1 touchdown. Oh, you only made such and such amount of points. You were all the time throughout my life. Yeah. And in my mind, growing up, I thought, well, this man must be perfect then, you know, if he requires these things of me. But as I got older, I realized, bro, you mess up too. But he's the type of guy that I've never made a mistake. I've never...
he never admits to anything.
Yeah, nothing. Like even something as easy as, look, I can Google it and show you that you're wrong. Google's wrong. Okay.
I hate that.
So I can't deal with that. So, like I said, I thought I was kind of beyond that already. But I realized that subconsciously, unfortunately, getting a little funny here.
That's fine, dude.
Subconsciously, unfortunately, I think I sabotage like relationships with girls, with friends, you know, acting wise, work wise. I think to prove to him that I am a loser, so that I prove I proved to him that he's right. I think this is what has happened to me a lot of my life, you know, and it's odd to say.
Frank, how does that work?
So imagine you have a doggy and you keep training the dog by beating him.
Right.
Right? The dog is going to eventually do what you ask him to do, but that dog is damaged, right?
Okay.
So he always wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer because you're a smart guy.
I get it.
Like, those are your dreams, bro. Those are not mine.
Get it?
So his thing was always, well, then you're going to fail. You're a loser. You know, you're born a loser. You're going to die,
okay.
Right? And, you know, I was, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. But I think the years and years and years of being told that you're not good enough, that you're you know, you're not worthy. I think, because I actually thanks to people like you, I would have never considered this before, but I got therapy myself.
Oh, fantastic!
And Gabor Mate and his son Daniel did a therapy that they do something with parent and child relationships, and in dealing with them, I realized that subconsciously, I think I sabotage myself because I believe somewhere deep down that maybe he's right. Maybe I'm a loser. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I won't make it, you know. And it's only through the therapy that I realize and try to break that cycle.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds odd, you know, to say that, oh, I'm failing to prove him right. But it's not on purpose. I think that it's deep down there in my subconscious.
Yeah. That's for sure.
That this happens. But my brother Eric has helped me, you know, as well. I've had amazing female figures in my life. My mother, my grandmas, my aunts, but not a great father figure. But my brother Eric, who's a couple years older than me, excuse me, he's been an amazing, you know, father figure to me. And he's helped me realize, like, hey, bro, you're enough just the way you are.
Yeah.
You know, whatever dad says, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, you're a good guy. Just keep doing what you're doing and, you know, be happy.
Right.
I don't ask my father for anything. I've never have. I do everything on my own, you know,
and you don't need your father to fix you.
No. And, you know, I've always told people, you know, I like to look in the mirror to see the cause and solution of the problems, right? But I realize that, again, subconsciously, I keep blaming my father. My father, just like all of us, he's a flawed man. You know, he has his own issues. I got to let that go. You know,
yes,
he was the way he was.
Yes,
I'm who I am, right? So, in doing so, I've helped, I think, myself get stronger. You know, through therapy, through, you know, when you go inside your own mind, and deal or confront these issues. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, to realize, oh shit, you know, I'm not being the best person I can be. I'm not being fair to myself. Like somebody once told me, you know, you radiate a lot of love out to
Yeah.
the world. Because
Yeah.
I work with children, and I think I do that to protect my inner
Yes.
child. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm really good to kids because I wasn't treated very well.
Yeah.
So they were telling me, you know, you radiate a lot of love out to the world, but you need to radiate some of that inward.
Yeah.
So he goes, if you have to love yourself, you know, as much as, you know, you love others. And I was like, again, subconsciously, I think it was beaten into me that, no, I don't deserve that love.
Yeah.
You know? So like I said, that's why I think I would, you know, subconsciously sabotage relationships and stuff.
Where is he now?
Well, he still lives in West Covina. He's still alive, you know. But what's crazy, and this is going to sound, what's the word, callous or cold, but I don't mean it to. He's had a few. He's in really good shape. He's 78, but he runs every day and does push-ups. He eats well, but he had a few. He had a minor cardiac event. He had a car accident. He was fine from both of them. And when I'm in the hospital there with him, I was looking at him, and I looked at him, and I was happy that he was okay. But I was happy as though I'm watching somebody on TV. Like, I'm glad that guy's okay. And I felt horrible about that because I didn't feel like, oh, I'm so glad my father is okay. Yeah. And I spoke to my brother and various people, and they're like, because you've already mourned that relationship, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh. So, you know, it happened, or to me it happens that my father's still alive, but I act as though he's not.
Look.
You know? And it hurts me to think that way.
I get you.
But
listen, Frank, let me give you my 2 cents.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing. You've gone to therapy. You're going to therapy.
Yeah.
You're fixing it. You're fixing it. Ultimately, yes. Would it be great to have both in a room and you guys hug and cry and all the stuff comes out and somebody doesn't allow him to not tell the truth and be honest and blah, blah, blah? Sure. But guess what? Doesn't have to happen.
No.
And probably better not to.
Yeah.
And, you know, I always feel, and I've said it just, I think, recently, I don't care if it's blood.
Yeah.
If you're not making me feel like a person, you know, that has some integrity,
Right.
and you're making me feel bad, bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Now, you have to keep doing the work so you don't have to keep trying to see your dad over here going, you can't do it, you suck. And let that go further away, and eventually it'll come further away. And you just keep doing what you're doing. Now, I'm going to end this by saying this about Frank. Frank came in here, we had a good time, because I haven't seen him in a long time, and I know he's a good guy. But what he just did about his father is why I created State of Mind. Fuck. Fuck. All right. It's why I created this show. Because so people can come in here and we can get deep. If it's only 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, we could have, you know, because I know that's what is important about the show. Somebody out there right now who hasn't talked to his dad in forever can watch this and watch Frank and say, you know what? I'm fine. I don't have to see him if I don't want to. He's doing it. He's doing well. Fuck. All right. Anyway.
May I say one
Go
thing
ahead.
here, boss? If you haven't seen this animated short from 2023, it's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. It's about a little boy who's lost in the snow and he's looking for a home. Watch this movie with your children, with whoever you can. There's a scene in there where the little boy asks the horse, what's the bravest thing you've ever done? Or he says, what's the bravest thing you've ever said? And the horse replies, help. He says, asking for help is not giving up. asking for help is refusing to give up. So your show here and your honesty and authenticity with your own mental health struggles and letting people see that, you know, even big stars, you know, they're not perfect, you know, they're all human, you know, it helps people see that, hey, you know, I too can get help. I too can reach out. You know, you're not alone.
No.
You know, and I know it's tough. You know, a lot of us are depressed. A lot of us are working through traumas, you know, that trying to protect that inner child, but endeavor to persevere because you're enough.
Yeah.
Just the way you are and what you bring to the world is immeasurable. And always endeavor to have a sunny day as best you can, you know.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, boss.
State of mind, bro.